Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesday. I, this has to be the favorite day because we talk about money on this day, and it's one of those topics that I really like talking about. I never used to, though. All right. It was one of those things that I avoided a lot. But when you avoid things, you can't actually make them better. It's like with anything, you have to face things head on if you want things to change. So today I'm really excited because we're going to talk about how your thoughts are keeping you broke. Okay. Now, when we think, whether we're saying words out loud or we're thinking them in our head, it doesn't actually matter because the different words cause us to feel a certain way. Now, you know that there are a lot of swear words that do this. There are some people that will use swear words as a term of endearment. And there are other people that when they hear it, they will cringe. Okay. There's not just swear words, there's other words. Moist is one of them. There are words that make people just back away. So our words are really important because they do cause us to feel something. Now, if you are watching this live, please play along, comment, and say hi. You don't have to though, because I understand that this can be one of those subjects where it can be quite sensitive because we were taught not to talk about money, right? It's not polite to talk about money. And there's a lot of emotions that are tied up with money as well. There can be a lot of shame. There's, a lot of lack. There's a lot of jealousy and comparison and that sort of thing. So I want to address all of this though with you guys because the more that you can embrace it and shift your perspective on how you see it, it's actually going to change the amount of money that you have in your life. Okay. So even if you don't want to comment, still play along at home, answer the questions in your own mind, and be really honest with yourself as well, because that's how you're going to actually be able to cause some change. Okay. When we had our head in the sand, it's not going to do anyone any good. All right, let me just move that up so I can see the comments. Very good. Okay, so let's start with how do you feel when you think or talk about money? Do you avoid it like the plague because you don't want to look at it because when you look at it, it reminds you of how little you have or how hard it is or there's struggle? Or do you see money as just a means to an end? Money is just the currency of the day. If we were still dealing in spices and shells, you'd probably have an aversion to spices and shells. Do you know what I mean? So the first thing I want you to really do is acknowledge how you feel when you think about money, because the feeling is really important. What are the things that you're saying in your head? What are the comments or the little throwaway comments that you were maybe brought up with? Or we can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money's the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. All of these sorts of things. When we're very young, in that 0 to 7 age group, we're pretty much walking around unconsciously. So what that means is that everything we see and hear, we take it in. We're little sponges. This is why we can learn so much in such a short amount of time. So we're like little sponges, and we take all these things in, and we don't have the experience or the emotional maturity or the context to be able to determine whether that statement is true or false. I used to say to the kids, "Oh, we can't afford it," because I just didn't want to buy it for them. It wasn't that we couldn't afford it. But that was like the easier thing to say without realizing what that was reinforcing to me as well, because that whole statement has a very low vibration. And then what it was reinforcing to them unintentionally, how they were then perceiving money. They're developing their own money beliefs at these ages by watching what we do and what we say and all of that sort of stuff, what our relationship with money is. So have a think about what those little throwaway comments are that you grew up with. And this is where, are you still repeating them? Do you find yourself saying these things? Do you find yourself thinking them? And if you do, that's okay, because once you've acknowledged them, then you're able to turn them around. Okay. So we were always taught, if there's a problem, you want to focus on that problem, you want to really drill down and give it a lot of attention to be able to solve it. Yes and no. Yes, you do need to focus on the problem. However, if focusing on money, for example, if you don't have enough money, you're finding it hard to make ends meet, you're finding it hard to get ahead, you're worried about what your future's going to look like. Are you going to be able to retire before you're 150? All these sorts of things. When we start to think about the problem, and then we look at, okay, how am I going to solve it? I need to get more money, need more money, need more money. How does that actually make you feel when you are focused like that? Every time we put our attention onto something and we feel the emotion connected to it. So when that you've got in that lack sort of mindset and you're focused on how to solve it, if you pay attention, you will probably more than likely not feel very good about it. It will be quite a low vibration. There will be worry. There will be a little bit of anxiety. There'll be other beliefs coming in. It's hard to make money. There's not many jobs out there. My boss won't give me a pay rise. There's no clients. All of this sort of stuff will start to come in and join in the downward spiral. And that then causes us to feel even worse. Then we start to feel helpless and hopeless and, what's the point sort of thing. And as we're doing that, it's creating this connection in our brain. Okay. When an event happens and we experience emotion, it creates a really strong connection in your brain. And every time you relive that event, so whether you're talking about it, whether you're thinking about it, you feel the emotion, it creates a stronger connection. This then causes your subconscious or your unconscious to then prove you right, okay? 'Cause it's like a little puppy. It's like if you believe there are no jobs, if you believe there are no clients, if you believe that you won't get a pay rise, if you believe that there is never enough, your unconscious mind then has to prove you right, and your RAS is gonna start looking for things to bring them into your reality. Bring in some unexpected bills. Maybe the car breaks down, something else happens. You might lose your job. The company might go under. Something will happen to prove you right, okay? Because that's how it works. And then when that happens, it firms up those beliefs because you are then seeing evidence of this in your reality, okay? So that then makes it harder for you to really change what you're doing. And I'm going to talk more about beliefs in the live I do after Christmas. Okay, so on the 30th, no, what's the Wednesday? Anyway, the first Wednesday in January, I'm going to talk more about beliefs and money. Okay, so what I want you guys to take away from this though is every time we really focus on it and we're feeling that negative emotion, the problem and the solution are on two different frequencies, okay? Because the problem feels heavy and yuck. The solution feels light and wonderful and happy and joy. So they're on different vibrations, all right? So, yes, you need to take actions. However, you need to take actions from the right vibration as well, okay? All right. I hope this is making sense. And if you've got questions about this, please pop them in the comments so I can clarify. Because at the end of the day, I want you guys to start to make these little changes in your life that's going to then cause a different trajectory. Okay. So while we keep doing the same thing and feeling, around that whole lack sort of thing when it comes to money, then that's the ripple that you are perpetuating. That's the path that you're on. You can change that. You can change it. And it's just going to take a little bit of effort. But when we want something and when we are determined, there is no stopping us. All right. So that is the good news. So let's look at some practical tips that you can do around changing your thoughts about money. Now, if they're pretty ingrained, and by that I mean if you've been practicing these thoughts and beliefs for many years, maybe decades, it can be a little bit hard to shift them, especially if you have that little devil on your shoulder contradicting everything you say. So if you try to say, I am abundant, I have enough, and then you look at your bank account and it's saying, no, you don't, it's hard to really make that shift. Okay. So the tip that I want to give you though is to keep it really broad. All right. Remember, only go as specific as it feels good to go specific. And that could change from day to day, from week to week, because there are times when you will be feeling it and you will be feeling abundant and you will feel like you've got enough. So on those days, milk it dry as long as you can. On the days where it's not feeling that, then that's when you need to sort of come out a little bit. All right. Now, on Monday, I talked about the you are affirmation format instead of the I am. Your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference if you're talking about you or talking about someone else. It doesn't know. Okay. It just hears words. It doesn't have context. It doesn't have that sort of thing to go on. It can only feel what you're feeling based on the words that you are saying. So, on the times where it's really hard to feel good about money and about abundance, flip it around and use the you are affirmation format. So, for example, if your affirmation might be, I am open to receiving abundance in every area of my life. If that feels good for you to say, go for it. If it doesn't, just make that tiny little tweak and just say you are open to receiving abundance in every area of your life. And if it helps, imagine your children, imagine the person you love the most in the world when you're saying these, because that, along with your words, the image is going to make you have an even bigger emotional response to that. And that emotional good feeling response, as long as it's a good feeling response, that is what we're aiming for, okay? Because when we're vibrating that level of joy and abundance and appreciation and happiness, all those nice fluffy words, when we're actually feeling that, that is the energy we're sending out. So that is the energy that needs to come back. That's the people, the experiences, the opportunities, the happen to have this coincidental chance meeting sort of thing. All right. They will all happen because you're sending out um that higher vibration. All right. So other ones that you can say to keep it nice and broad could be you are aligned with prosperity. You are worthy of financial freedom and all the opportunities it brings. Money supports you in creating a life filled with purpose and joy. You attract success and abundance. So, if any of those, when you hear them and you say them, you go, oh, that feels really good, take them, use them. All right. Maybe you want to tweak them a little bit more so that it feels really good for you. Whatever it is, find some affirmations around money that work for you. And every time you've got that little devil on your shoulder saying whatever they're saying, then that's when you know you've got to switch it around. Okay. Switch it around to take your focus off what you're doing. And I know that that can be hard, especially when, if the bill comes in and you don't have enough to cover it, it can be really hard. However, being um, upset about that is not going to change the situation. Okay. So this is where it's going to take a bit of effort on your part. Look at that and go, okay, well, I've got this bill. Let's say if it was for the car or the house or electricity or whatever, a washing machine, it doesn't even matter what it is. The reason you have that is because you have the thing attached to it. Find a way that you can appreciate that. I'm so grateful that I have this um, registration to pay because it means that I have a car. It means a car gives me freedom. I'm able to go wherever I want, whenever I want. I get to drive on the roads. I get to move around. I am be appreciative of what that thing gives you. If it's a washing machine, I'm so grateful that I have a washing machine that needed to be repaired, that I don't have to go to a laundromat, that I don't have to go and beat a rock on my clothes and wash them down at the river. Okay. There is always something that you can find to be grateful for around that thing. And it means, though, that you have to consciously choose to do that. And the good news is you are the one in control of what you think about. Okay. Just as easily as you can change the channel, you learn how to change the channel and channel surf and find something that you want to watch that makes you feel good or that you enjoy. You can do that with your thoughts as well. Okay. It will just take a little bit of conscious effort and do it every time you find yourself slipping. Every time you get into that negative talk about money, get your little affirmations out, have them there handy somewhere so that you can read them, so that you can distract yourself, so that you can switch your focus. And every time you do that, you're training yourself to go in the other direction. All right. And eventually it will get momentum where things will start to just snowball for you. And not just with money, because it will be abundance is everything. There's love, there's with work, with your relationships. Abundance is everywhere. Okay. All right. And then the last tip I want to give you is get good at managing your money. Okay. Yes, you need to feel good and you need to change your perspective around money and what you say to yourself about money. That's one part of the puzzle. The second part is that you have to get good at the external actions, which is get good at managing your money. Okay. If that means that you have to allocate different bank accounts so that a little bit goes into each one each time you get paid, so that come the time when you've got bills coming, it's all sitting there. You're able to pay it without the stress and wondering how you're going to make it work. There are lots of people that you can look to who can help you with doing budgets. There's so much information on YouTube, but it's up to you, though, to educate yourself and look at what are the different ways. Okay. Being financially literate is incredibly important if you want to get ahead and not just struggle all of the time. The information is there, but you have to do something about it. You are the one that has to go and find the things. Get yourself in that good feeling about it, though, because think about, okay, well, if you don't like doing budgets, and I get that, it's not really fun. However, you just do it once, to sort of maybe once a year, to get yourself knowing what your expenses are so that you can allocate your funds appropriately. Okay. Think of it, don't think of it as, oh my God, I have to do a budget and it's so boring and I hate it. Think of it as, I am being proactive here and I'm getting my money sorted. Okay. You can turn anything around. You can reframe anything because in the short term, yes, it might be uncomfortable, but go long term. In the long term, it's going to cause, it's going to give you less stress. Okay. So look at it how it's going to benefit you in the long term. And make that be your focus when you're doing it, because that's going to, again, you're going to feel better about it. Okay. And congratulate yourself for being proactive. Congratulate yourself for taking control of your money. Every time you allocate money in, even if it's on an automatic thing, congratulate yourself because you set that up and it's sitting there. And come the time when, whatever bills are coming in, it's sitting there and you did that. Okay. So congratulate yourself on that because that's going to make you feel good as well. That's going to reinforce the positive feelings. And that is going to help you change your relationship with money as well. All right. So hope you got something out of this. go ahead and make those affirmations for yourself that make you feel good, all right? Because hearing all of this and learning all of this is great. If you don't actually put that into action, then you may as well have not have even listened. Okay. So you've got to take some actions. And this is where it is entirely up to you. Get the help that you need. Come back and listen to this again. Do those affirmations. Keep practicing. Because remember, you, you have been practicing all of those negative affirmations about money, because an affirmation is just words that you keep saying to yourself. It's like a mantra that you keep saying on repeat. So you've been practicing all those negative affirmations about money for however many years prior to this point in time. So now it's going to be a conscious effort to practice different affirmations to create that life that you want, that relationship that you want with money. And then when you do that, things will start to turn around and eventually you'll get the momentum going in the other direction. All right. I hope that makes sense. Please put some comments in if you've got any questions. And yeah, good luck. Get out there and do it. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. We're able to do incredible things when we put our mind to it. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up now, and I'm going to leave you with a quote from Wayne Dyer. And Wayne says, "Abundance is not something we acquire; it's something we tune into." And doing all these things that I've just said in this live is going to help you tune into that as well. All right. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be here again live at 8 o'clock on Wednesday. Wednesday, today's Wednesday, on Friday. And we're going to be talking about your healthy vibration, your attitude to food, and why, just because you're eating healthily doesn't necessarily mean that everything's going to go honky dory. So join me on Friday for that one. In the meantime, have an amazing day. All right. Bye bye.